exploring the natural world one podcast episode at a time. This is For What It's Earth. Hi all, and welcome to another episode of For What It's Earth with me, Marissa, of the Art of Ecology, and as always for this mini-series, joined by my husband, Zack.
It's me.
It's him, yep. And we are going to continue our nature adventure series, your Choose Your Own Adventure. And this week we have Search for the Mountain Gorillas by Jim Wallace. We haven't had that guy yet.
Jim Wallace does sound new.
Yep, Jim Wallace is new.
My expectations are, I don't think I'm setting them too high. I don't think I'm setting them too low. I'm going in expecting nothing. No expectations. See how he does.
Okay. So from what I know, based on the little description, we are, well, I guess, you are.
Myself.
You are a photojournalist and you are trying to document the mountain gorillas. So
are you sure this one's not about you?
Kind of, yeah, that's kind of the vibes we're going for is, combining the arts and environmental sciences and talk a little bit about the realism, if there is any, because there might not be. But it's okay, we'll find out. All right. You are an environmentalist as well as a famous, keyword famous, photojournalist.
That's right.
So maybe not me. You've been assigned to photograph the rare and reclusive mountain gorillas of Uganda. And you'll have help, a university zoologist named Ed.
Great.
And an excellent young tracker named Zwena will travel with you through the jungle. Your trek will challenge your mind, your creativity, and your survival skills. You'd better be careful. These gorillas depend on your project to help save their species from extinction. No pressure.
No pressure at all. Hopefully the gorillas help me out. Hopefully they don't make it too difficult for me, because I want to try and help them.
We'll find out.
We will.
All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Wham!
Whoa.
Your SUV slams into another gaping hole in the red dirt road. So we start off real strong here.
Respect, Jim.
Yeah. Clouds of dust swirl around you. You are a photographer and writer for the nature magazine African Naturalist. I'm assuming that this is you.
Nice goatee.
Yeah, right? A lot of bamboo in the background. Weird. You've done some excellent work on the mountain gorilla, a species that is almost extinct, and now your magazine has sent you on an expedition to a remote wildlife preserve in Uganda. You will be searching for the mountain gorillas that have been sighted there. This is the first time they've been seen in this area, and reports are sketchy. You've asked Edward Kiwanuka, a zoologist at the University of East Africa and a specialist in mountain gorillas to join you. The preserve you're heading for is called the Impenetrable Forest. Interesting. I actually just learned about what I thought was the Impenetrable Forest, and I thought it was in the Amazon.
I thought
that's the Impenetrable Zone. My bad.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought this was fiction, and then you're talking about it as if it's like an actual place in Uganda, and I'm confused.
Sure. No, the Impenetrable Zone is in the Amazon.
Okay.
Which is not Uganda.
Okay.
So maybe the Impenetrable Forest is something different.
I'm going to tell you all right now, I don't know much about this, and I'm about to get very embarrassed because I'm going to feel like I should know more about this.
About Uganda?
It's stuff. Just keep reading.
Okay. It's a few miles north of Kigezi Gorilla Sanctuary Park. Both places are on the border of the country, and the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda are on the slopes of extinct volcanoes. You're driving and you turn to Ed. Where do you think... Oh, that's you. My bad.
Where do you think those gorillas in the impenetrable forest come from, Ed? Everyone says the few that are left alive only we're gonna scratch that. Sorry, aneurysm. Where do you think those gorillas in the impenetrable forest come from, Ed? Everyone says the few left live only in the gorilla sanctuary park.
My guess is they're fleeing. Wow, we both are on a crazy train today.
Blooper reel's coming in hot.
Yeah, this is the day after Christmas. So
we're full of
sugar?
cookies and sugar and odd sleep schedules.
Yes. All right.
Dog is also snoring.
All right.
So
my guess is they're fleeing the park. The park rangers haven't been able to keep herdsmen and their cattle out of the park. Uganda is a growing country, you know. The sad thing is, once the lower mountain slopes are farmed or made into pastures for cattle, the gorillas lose that precious bit of territory, and after a while, they'll vanish. It's late afternoon. You gun the SUV around a hairpin turn. Roadblock! A jumble of freshly cut trees lies across the road. Ed frowns. Poachers probably made this mess. For years, they've been coming across the border from the Congo to hunt deer illegally in the gorilla sanctuary park. Park officials have started cracking down on them. This roadblock may be their way of getting back. With machetes so weak they seem intended for gardening, it takes you and Ed nearly an hour to hack away enough of the trees to smash the SUV through the roadblock. But now the sun has set. In a few minutes, it'll be pitch black. There's no twilight in the tropics. You have to decide what to do. You could camp nearby for the night or go ahead up the dark mountain road into the impenetrable forest to try to find the forestry outpost where Zuena, your gorilla tracker, waits. You told her you'd meet her today and can't be sure she'll wait around for you tomorrow.
I do know that Ed, my trusted navigator, tells me that this tree was probably felled into the road by poachers. It sounds like we want to avoid the poachers, so I'm going to say we keep going. And
All right.
Get to our other friend.
If you decide to drive into the impenetrable forest, turn to page 7. You drive up the dark road towards the impenetrable forest. Your headlights shine on a white sign. Uganda Forestry Outpost, Impenetrable Forest District. We turn here, says Ed. The road is now a one-lane track. It curves back and forth, following the contours of the steep volcanic mountain. It winds up, 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 and the SUV's engine labors in low gear. Impatient, you peer ahead. Nothing to see but intense tropical darkness. Wait, there's a wink of light, like a candle, off to the left.
Ed, look, what's that light? It's flickering in the forest, down there, off the trail.
As you near the light, it reflects off the branches of a tree overhead.
Maybe it's a poacher camp,
he says.
Let's take it easy. I say. Oh. Let's take it easy. Remember the roadblock we went through.
Oh dear, okay. The light is coming from a poacher's camp indeed. You stop the SUV. From it, you can see right into the camp a couple hundred yards down the steep wooded slope. By the light of the campfire, you see that poachers are using a hagenia tree as shelter. One man is sleeping against it, the second one by the fire. The second man sits up and stares in the direction of your headlights.
Those poachers are camping and hunting in the protected area.
I know, replies Ed. They're getting bolder and bolder. And you can see here the poachers. Ta-da! You shift into first gear and continue up the trail. Nervous and exhausted, you and Ed reach the forestry outpost an hour later. There's no sign of Zuena inside the empty cottage. By the light of the kerosene lamp, you both roll out your sleeping bags on cots. At daylight, Ed searches the area for Zuena while you look at a map of the forest. No sign that she's been here, Ed reports. Want to wait to see if she shows up? You've been depending on having Zuena along on your expedition. She's the best gorilla tracker you know, and until now, she's been pretty reliable. You and Ed can track gorillas on your own, though, and you really want to start. Should you wait for Zuena or continue without her?
You know we're waiting for Zuena.
All right, that takes us way far here. I don't know what that means for us. All right. You decide to wait for Zuena. The early morning sun disappears in the fog that settles on the slopes of the nearby mountain, and a mist begins to fall. Common weather in this high tropical rainforest. Now it's mid-morning. Water drips from the Spanish moss that hangs from the branches of the Hagenia tree at the edge of the clearing. You and Ed pace the grounds of the outpost, keeping watch for Zuena. But suddenly, you jump because she has appeared to you without a sound. Just like her careful, quiet tracker who could sneak up on even the most alert animal.
Hi, Zuena. You scared me.
I was waiting for you here yesterday evening. Then some men came, not from my tribe. I camped up on that ridge for the night to keep away, but I heard them talk about catching a baby gorilla for a zoo. They are poachers. Zuena leads you and Ed into the forest, and you follow her when she leaves the trail. The vegetation and vines are so thick and entwined that you have to climb up and over them to move forward. You climb down a steep ravine. Up on the other side is a forest of thick-trunked trees with massive lower branches and strange, lovely red blossoms. Zuena sniffs. You smell it too, a kind of musky, sweet smell. Gorilla. That's like from Tarzan.
Gorilla.
But Ed doesn't. Ed knows what he's saying. Ed says quietly, "They're somewhere in the Hagenia forest." Turn to page 51.
Ooh,
Oh my gosh, they're precious.
cute drawing.
Oh, so precious. For those on Patreon, look at how cute they are.
I think we found the baby.
They're so cute. The forest is quiet. The three of you crouch down and peer ahead for signs of gorilla movement. As you rise, you tell Zuena,
They must still be ahead of us.
Suddenly, sharp screams burst from the thick vegetation to the left of the trail ahead. Gorillas, Zuena whispers. They saw you and gave an alarm. What do you think the sharp screams of gorillas sound like?
The sharp screams of gorillas?
Yeah.
What?
We heard a baby gibbon once. That's cute. That sounded more like a gibbon. Whoop, 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 whoop,
Yeah,
whoop.
it's just the one though.
Oh, it's just one.
Just one.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Okay. Farther away, high-pitched calls repeat over and over.
But it's different gorillas. Each gorilla's only doing so. It's like that scene in Balto, where the wolves are howling to each other.
Oh,
Great
gotcha.
message. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In the top of a tree ahead, 3 black balls of fur bounce from branch to branch, sliding down a thick vine to the ground. Gorilla babies.
Oh.
Those are their mothers calling them, Ed says. The last baby down the vine jumps on the shoulders of the one under it, and they wrestle for a second, then scamper to their mother's call.
Let's keep after them, Zuena. It's true, gorillas have migrated to the impenetrable forests.
They are scared now. If we keep tracking them, they may flee. It'll be easy to contact them again tomorrow. Let them get used to us gradually, Zuena advises you. It's tempting to stay on the trail of the gorillas. You've waited so long to find them and get started on your article, but perhaps waiting a day will pay off later. Do you keep following the gorillas or wait until tomorrow?
We're gonna follow.
Turn to page 105. Wow.
You know what? Actually, I changed my mind because I feel like if we follow the gorillas, the mamas are not gonna be happy. So we're gonna wait until tomorrow.
Okay, turn to page 110. All right. Okay.
Okay, we'll wait until tomorrow, Zuena. We've got plenty to do now that we've located the gorillas. Let's set up our camp here near them.
I saw a good camping place near that ridge we came over, says Ed. There's a stream for water. It starts raining, which is common in the high mountains. And it's cold, too. Cutting saplings for the lean-to is mean work. When it's finished, Zuena builds a fire. You dry your clothes by it and try to warm up. The rain continues, and the gray afternoon light is dim, color of smoke from the fire. Suddenly, the calm is broken. Two men burst into the campsite and run up to you. My 3-year-old daughter is missing, one of them shouts. We think gorillas have killed her. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. Wait,
He says, standing up.
we're following those gorillas. They haven't hurt your daughter.
We saw the gorillas in the bamboo forest, though. We've never seen them before, and they scared us. And then we heard strange screams from the forest this morning, and now my daughter is missing. Will you help us find her? You think for a moment. You're really sure that the gorillas haven't hurt this man's daughter, and they'll probably find her soon. You want to stay near the gorillas you just found. But if these men don't find the girl soon, they might harm the gorillas or themselves. Do you decide to help the men find the missing girl, or do you decide to stay in your camp and wait?
Feel like again picking up on context clues, I feel like we're getting led to helping the men.
All right.
Helping find the daughter.
Turn to 118. Whoa, chaos ensues.
My goodness.
All right, for those on the Patreon, let's get ready for this level of chaos. And suddenly, a gorilla is not in the picture. Now we've got a different animal. So let's find out.
But I can't see. Let's get going. Show us where the little girl was last seen. Zuena, your tracking skill is going to be useful now.
The father guides you along the trail to his village. The rain soaked the red earth, and it's like grease underfoot. Watch it, he yells. Buffalo and calf are up there. We've made her angry. You've better run. A huge buffalo stands right in the middle of the trail, and rain glistens on her wicked-looking, thick, curved horns. Oh yeah, she thick. She thick with 2 C's.
The horns are.
The horns are, yeah. Quick! The buffalo is charging. You've got to decide what to do. Do you run, or do you leap for a tree branch and climb?
I feel like buffaloes probably can't climb trees, so I'm gonna leap for a branch.
122. You spot a thick branch overhanging the trail. It's just the right height, and you grab it and swing up. Whoosh! The wind from the charging buffalo moves the leaves on your branch. That was close. Snorting in rage. Can you snort?
In rage?
Oh my. All right. You hit your foot, yeah.
It hurt a little bit.
Oh gosh. Snorting in rage, just like that. The buffalo catches the child's father on one of her horns. He flies into the air, landing in a bush. And that is what saves his life. For a moment, the buffalo paws at the bush, but the man is out of reach. With one last snort, the beast turns and disappears into the forest. We go back to page 83. Oh, goodness. Oh, okay. That was close, he says after you and the others help him up. But I'm all right, just banged up. We're not far from my village. In the village, the child's mother shows you and Zuena where she last saw her daughter playing. She was helping me weed this vegetable patch. I went to get some water, and she was gone when I came back. Zuena slowly walks around the edge of the vegetable patch of that forest. She stops to peer at a bent leaf and examines a faint impression in the earth. Here, she says. The trail leads from the village. Beside some thick vine-covered bushes, Zuena stops to look for the next clue, and you all hear crying. It sounds like a child. It's coming from the other side of the bushes and vines. Oh. Interesting.
Follow me.
He called to the others, leading them on all fours through the undergrowth. The wet green tunnel opens into a grassy place. You stop by a thick-trunked old tree.
Look, here she is.
You say. In the hollow trunk is a little girl. She's in a gorilla nest. The trunk curves over it, protecting her from the rain. There you are. How did you get here? What happened? Her father asks and picks her up. That nest is a fresh one, I think, Ed says. I wonder how she got here.
Maybe gorillas found her and protected her while they rested here. Who knows?
The girl holds on to her father and smiles. She's too young to say anything or corroborate anybody's story, of course.
But old enough to get into trouble.
Yes. Thank you for finding our girl. Come back to the village with us. We will have a celebration. That night, around the fires of the celebration feast, everyone talks about the mystery of the lost girl. I was wrong about the gorillas, says her father. I think they helped my daughter. We were wrong to suspect them, and I am glad that you are working to protect these animals. The end.
Okay. Not a single wrong turn taken?
Not a single wrong turn taken,
Go us.
which is new for us, right?
Yeah, that is new. I think that was first.
Yeah. However, you didn't track the gorillas.
No, but what we did do is solve another problem, which is the problem of people and animals coexisting, which is not
Human-wildlife conflict.
Human-wildlife conflict.
Right.
Thank you. Yes.
I guess you did, right? You helped that village understand the gorillas a little bit more, or at least appreciate them a little more.
Yeah, realize that they are not the bad guy.
Yeah. I do have to say, though, I don't think that whoever is funding your research will take this ending as grounds for
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I think they'd be thrilled that you did this, that you helped somebody.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to take pictures of the gorillas.
That's true. I'm a photographer. So I'm going to take photos of all of this stuff. I'm going to document. I'm going to write a book about the story one day.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm also going to keep looking for gorillas.
Do you think that you are Jim Wallace? And this is his documentation?
No. I don't think so.
Okay. So
am I wrong? Is Jim Wallace a wildlife photographer?
I don't know. Does it say anything about him? By Jim Wallace. For Ian, my son. I think it says Ian. I can't quite tell. It's I-A-I-N. So there's that.
I-A-I-E-I-N.
Oh, cool. There's a glossary in the back here. Oh, we missed a lot of cool things apparently, because there's a definition of a bush pig. You didn't come across any bush pigs.
Missed that one. Probably for the best.
Also cholera.
Also deadly.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Although it does tell you what low gear means, which is helpful for the not
That's true.
Manual car drivers.
Yeah, it is 2022.
Yeah.
It's almost 23.
It is. There we go. Hygenia tree provides both home and nourishment to mountain gorillas. They grow between 30 and 60 feet and have twisted trunks and low lichen-covered branches. Hygenia forests are mountain gorillas' primary habitat, and the inner bark of the tree is their favorite food. So, yeah. So in terms of accuracy here or realism, what are your thoughts? I think I might have more thoughts than you, but I'd like to hear yours.
I'm sure you do. This sounded very believable to me. Except for maybe the part about gorillas protecting. Well, I mean, I don't know. Stranger things have happened, I guess. I can't imagine that gorillas protecting human children is common. Maybe it's not impossible though. I am disappointed in the family that lost the daughter, because it sounds like mom was working with daughter weeding, and then daughter turned up immediately adjacent to where they were working. Yeah, it sounds like they didn't look very hard for the child, which is distracting me from my mission.
That's very true. Yeah, so probably the parents could have done a little bit more.
Disappointed in the parents, not disappointed in Jim. Jim had me. This was my favorite one so far.
Oh, cool. Excellent. This, well, personally, I think I'm biased. This is the most relatable to my life. So there we go.
Yeah.
I like this one too. I do have to say, I don't know too much about the mountain gorillas specifically and how they rescue children, but I do know they can be pretty aggressive, and there definitely are human wildlife conflicts with gorillas in general. However, I do also know of other stories and instances where animals will keep humans safe
Hmm.
from what they consider to be predators. And so they'll say, oh no, like there's a lot of stories about whales
Hmm.
who will go up to divers and kind of shove them under their fins, not really understanding that humans are very small, fragile beings. And so you might get bruised up a lot. However, then like a shark was going by that the divers did not see, and the whale protected them.
The thought to me that whales think that human divers are like cute little dudes is really endearing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just like, oh no, precious pumpkin,
Yeah.
come here, come here. So I know of instances like that, or there are stories where wolves will protect lost cubs, quote unquote, and it's little kids.
Okay.
Um,
It's precious.
so I do know that those stories exist, but yeah, I have not personally heard of gorillas doing that except here. So cool. All right.
Yeah. A+, my favorite one so far. I liked it.
Yeah, sure. Not all that short, same amount of pages as the other ones, but still very like to the point. And we did it. I think you thought through it very well of like, you don't let the book trick you.
Yeah. I tried to think about the others as well, but they got me, I guess. So maybe Jim and I are just mind melding.
Yeah. The other books you were more like the 9 and 10-year-olds
Yeah.
that read these. Cool.
Yeah. I did not say gorillas though, like you said.
Yes.
So maybe I had an ending, but like the secret ending, but not the true ending.
Yes, as I'm like flipping through on page 102, I see an ending where you get 850,000 euros to
Sure, they're not
fund
pounds.
your article, and the BBC throws a gala fundraiser based on your work. So there were other endings in there that I personally think are a little more satisfying. However, human wildlife conflict is a really big deal, and there's a lot of social science that goes into kind of mitigating some of those on the human end of being like, hey, let's see what the communities or the villages think. Let's find creative solutions so that everybody's happy, because humans are part of this world too. So you got to work on both aspects. And a lot of times scientists, especially conservationists, really focus on the wildlife in the wildlife human conflicts and not the humans. So I'm happy to see that, right? Yeah, I wish since you're a photojournalist, you took more pictures along the way.
Well, perhaps we'll do a part 2 and I'll have more opportunities to actually use my camera.
That would be great. That would be great. Uh, yeah, so shout out though to Joel Sartori, who's one of my I guess inspirational examples to me in school of someone who used photography to further conservation efforts with National Geographic. He does the photo arc for those who have not heard of him. And it's such a cool way to combine the arts and conservation and environmental sciences to get people learning more about the incredible biodiversity of the world. So very inspirational for me. His artwork is incredible. He does portraits of wildlife all over the world, and it's beautiful. So this is actually a real thing. People can actually do this.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into making it happen. It's not very easy, but it's achievable. It's doable. People do it.
People do it. Got to work real hard, but people do it.
Yeah.
And it definitely, I guess they touched on it a little bit, and not that this is necessarily in every single location that you would shoot anyway, but field work is hard work, and
Yeah.
they touched on the fact that it was raining and the weather changes so quickly, and you had to dry your clothes by the fire and create your own shelters. You have to wait for your contacts in the area to help you out. And so usually field documenting, whether for videography or photography, it takes a lot of people are involved, and you got to be ready for all sorts of weather and climates. And
there's a lot of like non photo or video related skills that you need in order to make these things happen, which I guess is why you travel with a team.
And right there, you got to make those contacts. You can't just go in and go to a village and be like, sup, everybody, I'm here and I need your trackers. Like, this takes, from my social science class where I was learning about research, some of the setup can take, just the setup can take like a year of building contacts, forming relationships with people, earning their trust to be like, no, I'm not a poacher. I'm not trying to document for bad reasons, things like that. Language barriers could be a thing, depending on where the you in this are from. You might not know what language they speak, or maybe Zuena or Ed did not speak English, you know. So there's a lot of issues or challenges that can arise. So definitely a cool field to go into, but a challenging one, but also a super rewarding one, because just for what I have done in Africa and Kenya, it's such a cool feeling to capture that, whatever wildlife it is, in a photo and be able to tell their story. So super cool, rewarding field, super challenging one.
Rewarding is the buzzword that was floating around in my head while you were describing that experience.
There we go.
Yeah.
So if you were to go to another country, another place to try to search for wildlife, what animal would you search for?
I might do some sort of like lizard or bird that you'd be able to find up in trees. They're one of my favorite climbers to follow on Instagram. It's a guy named Drew Bristow who's currently doing a project similar to this in Panama, where he's helping two other researchers mount cameras at certain places in the jungle. So he's bringing those like access skills, and they have like the wildlife skills, and it's cool to see this teamwork partnership. And it's something I don't think I could ever do, but it's something that I have a really good time watching and appreciating what goes into making it happen.
What part don't you think you could do?
Living in a jungle for an extended period of time.
Gotcha.
Without the things that I take for granted every day, like indoor plumbing and heat at the moment.
Gotcha.
Right now,
the amenities.
December 26th.
Yes. It is very cold. Well, if you're in a jungle, I mean, maybe not Uganda, but Panama, you might be very warm.
That's true. I wouldn't have to worry about snow there.
Yeah. Okay. That's super cool. There's a lot of really incredible arboreal animals that do not descend from the trees.
Yeah.
I can picture, as an arborist, you would really enjoy seeing what the mere mortal doesn't ever see.
Yeah, it's true. It's a lot of views that people walking on the ground won't ever experience.
Right. Like, I know I've gone rock climbing with you, and it's always such a unique perspective when I'm even 30 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. But I don't do that every day. And you do.
Yeah.
That would be really fascinating.
It's fun. I like it a lot.
Nice. There's some cool salamanders that live in the redwood canopies that never descend.
I'll pick that one.
There we go.
Let's do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I would do giraffes.
Really?
Weird, right?
Yeah.
That, or if I would love to get into diving photography and underwater photography.
It's like an equal and opposite, I think, answer to my
going down. But that takes just like your rope access one, it takes a whole different set of equipment.
Yeah.
Like I
Skills
cannot
and
just go to the ocean with my camera and be like, okay, I'm going swimming.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the ability to breathe underwater, obviously.
Really?
Again, weird, right? I don't have any gear for waterproofing my camera aside from my what I call my body bag, which rain proofs it, but rain and the ocean are not the same thing.
Submerging is different.
Yeah. Or the pressure, but it'd be super cool to document octopus use
cool
of
animals.
terrain and how they try to camouflage themselves.
Those are very cool animals.
The changing ocean floor and how that impacts octopus survivability, I guess, would be fascinating.
Yeah, good related to current events in the ocean and the state of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have all sorts of cool projects rambling about in my brain that I would love to do, but they definitely take, as we learned in the book, takes a whole entire team, lots of time, and funding. Lots of funding. I was really surprised in my research class that I did, we had to submit a research portfolio which included a budget. And based on what I thought was a very, very basic project that was more of like mailed out surveys and focus groups, it was a 10,000 plus, like 10,000 and a couple $100 project. And in my head, I was like, that's absolute insanity. And there were others of my class when I posed, like, am I way off base here? They were like, nah, my project's like 100,000. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I can only imagine what a project like that, where now you have crazy airfare travel funds multiple times to get to know people, all sorts of crazy technology and equipment that you're using. And how many memory cards did that dude have to take, and fancy lenses, and so that dude had crazy funding, which is why I don't think that his funder would have really appreciated just a report that said
that was an astute observation to make. And I'm sure that's a very real thing that happens is you know, you invest all this time and these resources into going to do the thing, and then you know, other things happen, like it's the way nature happens. Rules aren't where they're supposed to be for some reason. You know, what do you do in that situation? How do you prepare for that? And so
which actually is a segment in your research portfolio of the contingency plans and
that's important.
The risk assessments and all sorts of mitigating factors. So,
I guess these are things that you need to sell to your investors, that you are, or I don't know if that's the right word. But
funders, investors, depends on the project, I guess.
Right. That you are prepared for these things to go wrong, and you are have solutions to mitigate them. So you just I don't know.
No, it's just weird to think about.
It's the whole industry that I know very little about, because I'm not a part of it.
That's okay. That's okay. So ending thoughts on the book as a whole. You said it was your favorite one.
I liked it a lot. 10 of 10.
10 of 10. Wow.
Would recommend. Fun for kids and adults. Found out. There we go. Because we're not kids.
Kids at heart. Sometimes you say I'm a child.
Sure. Yeah.
But
it's Christmas. Everybody's a kid.
Everybody's a kid at Christmas. There you go. All right. Any shout outs or plugs to make?
Drew Bristow. I mentioned him. He's got a really, really entertaining Instagram account. Look him up. Does cool stuff.
There we go. And I had the shout out of the photo work by Joel Sartor. Can post the Instagram link and some of Joel's work in the podcast description. But otherwise, thank you so much for digging deeper into the natural world with the art of ecology, and for learning about a little bit of the volcanic mountains of Uganda with us, and what it takes to do a research project. So thank you for that, and we will see you next time on For What It's Worth. Bye.